I'm not picking it. I'm not predicting it. But look, in a one-game situation, it's not one and done. Obviously, the loser would play the 9 and 10 winner. But anything can happen. We see it all the time in March Madness. We just saw it within the last week and a half. The Lakers struggled, had to go to overtime with a Utah team missing its top 2 players. We just saw your Sixers got demolished by nearly 30 points by Miami. And Golden State, I'm not being biased, Golden State just lost to Denver without Nikola Jokic.
That wasn't.
Well, no. I mean, one-game situations.
That's what they do on the road.
Different things can happen, especially in today's NBA, where the three-point shot is so pivotal. All right? All it takes is for one team to be cold and one team that's the underdog to be hot. And Minnesota's not a great three-point shooting team, but they're above average. Mm-hmm. And the Lakers, especially with Karl Anthony Towns, I know he might be questionable for tonight, but if he can play.
Look, he's going to play.
If he plays, now you got some three-point shooters. So what has to happen? Anthony Edwards has to have a breakout moment, like 35 or more.
Game. Yeah, that's correct.
35 points or more.
35?
Yeah. He's got to be in the 30s. Got to be in the 30s. Karl Anthony Towns has to be hot from 3. Yeah. And then they need AD. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but they need AD to just have one of those kind of passive AD games where maybe he's 20 and 14. That sounds good, but they can live with that. Yeah. And then if LeBron has to carry him and he happens to be off from 3 or just cold, that's the formula. I'm not predicting it, but that's the formula for an upset.
So here's the thing. I would actually, as someone who's rooting for the Lakers and picked the Lakers to win the title once Dallas was out, I would rather them play Denver in round 1 than Memphis. So if they losing tonight would not be devastating, in my opinion, to the Lakers.
It'd be a bad look.
Wouldn't you be a bit concerned, though, just because, I mean, they're probably not going to lose 2 in a row.
But like you're saying, no, I don't think they're going to lose 2 home games in a row. And I also don't, but and to your point, if Minnesota were to go 22 of 36 from 3, it's like, okay, there's nothing you can do. Like the other team just, but here's the thing. Everyone says what Bruce said. It's not disparaging. Anything can happen in a one-game situation. And we know that's true in theory. In practice, in the play-in, it has not been. We can show you. There have been 12 of these games. The favorite has won 11 of them. The only time the underdog, the road team, has won was when Memphis beat Golden State after the Lakers had beaten Golden State a couple years ago. The favorites usually cover, and they win by double digits. And so why am I so confident in the Lakers tonight? Number of reasons. One is Minnesota is a wildly immature team. Right. And you knew that before they lost 2 guys for the most critical game of their season due to different punching incidents. Here's the other one. Karl Anthony Towns was not on the court last year when Patrick Beverley was making a fool of himself jumping on the scorer's table.
It was important to him.
Okay. Well, we can see things through different lenses. I thought he was making a fool of himself. You thought it was a nice moment. Why was Karl Anthony Towns not out there? Because he had fouled out. What is Karl Anthony Towns' issue? Foul trouble. In the playoffs, 3 of the 6 games last year, 5 fouls. This year, he only played 29 games. 11 of them, he had 5 or 6 fouls. And now, you don't have Naz Reid, you haven't had for a couple weeks because he got hurt. You don't have Rudy Gobert. You don't have Jaden McDaniels to give you some resistance up top. I would be shocked if Karl Anthony Towns can stay out of foul trouble, and they desperately need him. What'd you say?
That friendly Lakers whistle.
Okay, well, you can
say that.
That's
a fact.
It is a fact that the Lakers live at the free throw line. That is also because, oddly, LeBron does not. LeBron led all forwards in scoring this year if you remove free throws. He was not benefiting from the whistle the way other guys were. But Austin Reeves been great at it. Anthony Davis obviously great at it. And that's the style of play Darvin Ham has preached. But the last reason I'm so confident in, we can argue about who the greatest player of all time is. We can't argue about who the greatest play-in player of all time is. It's LeBron Raymond James.
How many playing games?
1.
Oh, okay.
There's only been 12 in total history. 8% of all history. Triple-double, and did this to Steph Curry to essentially end his season a couple years ago. Remember this? And this was a blind LeBron. I don't know if you remember, he only had one eye. One eye right between Steph's eyes to win that game. So, yeah, I'm very confident.
You lost this when you said greatest play-in.
I'm just telling you. Again, every little thing matters. Every little thing matters.
Brew, quickly, and we're going to talk about Rudy later on in the show. not traveling. Do you think if the Lakers win this game, the Wolves are like, man, I wouldn't mind Rudy playing. He could have helped us out here. You're penalizing us for suspending him.
If the Lakers win?
If the Lakers win, and if I was on the Timberwolves.
Would you play him in the next game?
No, I'm saying if I would
will
be
they
upset.
regret it? Will they regret the punishment?
Yeah, it was just a bad move. It didn't warrant a suspension. Okay. It warranted a healthy fine. That's it.
And a talking to. Don't forget. You said
and a talking to. Yeah.
Stern or not?
Stern dressing down.
Stern dressing down.
But, yeah,
don't punch your teammates. Okay.
Bad move.
Sure. Darvin Ham. Lofty expectations. I was trying to think of a clever French phrase. I didn't have one. For the Lakers, if all goes well, Darvin Ham's feeling great. If we're healthy, we get the team to pay attention to detail and continue to alleviate mistakes. Sky's the limit. Any team with LeBron James and a healthy Anthony Davis, D'Lo, Dennis, Austin, all of these guys. Vando. I didn't know that was nicknamed Vando.
Yeah.
I like that. We're not going to put a ceiling on our own selves. Brew, anything short of a title, a disappointment for the Lake
love the
Show
quote
here.
from Darvin because he's absolutely right. They shouldn't put a ceiling on it. In fact, it is championship or bust. Anything less than a championship is a disappointment. All right, now, we'll give them props if they upset Phoenix, win the West, get to the finals, and lose. It'll be, we'll give them some props. If they get to the conference finals, we'll give them some props.
Yes.
But LeBron James will be 39 next season. And I know he's defied Father Time so far. But they're like Phoenix. Tomorrow is not promised. All right? LeBron hasn't played outside of the bubble year where you had 3-4 months off. He hasn't played 60 or more games since like 2018. Okay, in 5 years. So to think he may come back and play great like he has this year, but injuries will be a factor. He's likely to miss a lot of games next year, just like he has the last several years. AD, obviously, you never know with him. So they have to play this like, look, it's championship or bust. And, Nick, they have the ability.
Well,
that's the thing. They shouldn't be going into this like the Clippers. Let's just get to the conference finals and feel good. They have top 2 players, 2 of the top 10 players in the league. They're one of only 2 teams in the West that had 2 players on the All-NBA team on my ballot.
Oh,
my
spoiler.
3 teams.
That's
My 15
45
players.
minutes.
They had 2. Sacramento had 2. That's it. So we know they have the supporting cast, the depth, the shooting, the defense, the athleticism. They should absolutely be thinking championship or bust.
I think every team that has I think Cleveland should look at this as.
But it's not a disappointment. There's a difference.
Well, but hold on.
Of course they want to win.
That it would be disappointing for them internally. Are you saying that the only thing that could be considered success for the Lakers is a title?
Essentially, yes.
So I think
nuance, you can, again, we would give them props. Wow, nice season by the Lakers. But in the grand scheme, Nick, it would be disappointing. And I wouldn't do this, but there's haters out there that would just say, LeBron, if he got to the finals, it'd be a great run. But a lot of people would be like, he's 4-7.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second then. Hold on, Wildes. What's the best thing that could happen for LeBron's legacy this year?
He could win the championship.
Okay, hold on. I want to ask Wildes a question. What's the best thing
I'm going to play along
to happen for LeBron's legacy
I will give you
this
both
year?
answers.
The best thing for his legacy.
The best thing is for him to win the title.
What's the
second best thing? Is for him to lose in the Western Conference Finals.
So you realize
got to the Western Conference Finals.
Hold on.
And then AD got
realize though, because here's the thing. Brew is laughing, and you're saying with that old Cheshire cat grin on your face because you know what. So it would, to be clear, it's better to lose the conference finals than win them. In your example.
Yeah, I think it'd be very impressive if they got to the Western Conference.
Right,
Finals.
but what if they got to the finals?
Well, if you get to the finals, you should be good enough to win.
See, so there we go.
That's just the way.
It's
like making the Final Four.
But he has one opponent. In the grand scheme of things, his opponent is Jordan.
Okay.
And that's the thing. It doesn't help you to be 4-7 against Jordan.
No, but that's not the. Brew.
That's all I'm saying.
Brew.
Makes sense.
Again, it's nuance.
But no. There's not. It's not. It is the.
So you're gonna give him more props for being in the 11 finals if he only won 4?
I am going to. If you are saying we all agree that the best thing is for LeBron's legacy that at the end of the season he has 5 rings instead of 4 rings. We all agree. But if we are saying he's not winning the title, What is the next best thing?
I think it's getting to the finals.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. But Wildes disagrees. America disagrees because they have been brainwashed into thinking that your finals record
Can I ask you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you ever met an Olympian?
Yes.
You've met an Olympian
Yes,
before?
I have. Maurice Green.
Oh, okay. Well, he won golds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine you meet an Olympian, a fictitious Olympian, and you're like, guess what? 1984, I won the bronze medal.
No,
You're like,
that
wow.
wouldn't be it.
Did you
Wildes.
really? You won the
This
bronze
is so
medal.
frustrating.
Or he's like, 1984, 1988, won the silver medal. Like,
No, hold.
Why don't you win the gold?
Let me. That's
bronze
not,
actually sneaky
that's
better
not
than silver.
The question.
Just is.
The question is: would you rather, if you were an Olympian, retire with 4 golds and 6 silvers, or 4 golds and 7 silvers? That's the question. And everyone knows in Olympic terms how absurd. Would you rather have 4 golds? Because some people would argue LeBron would have a stronger GOAT case if he had to use the Olympic model, 4 golds and 0 silvers. Because then he could say the same, never lost in the finals. Which the absurd.
Do people argue that, though, really?
Well, no, but people,
It would be
they
impressive.
argue it in reverse, Brew, because you are by default giving Jordan credit for losing to the Pistons. If you assume those Bulls teams weren't good enough to beat the Lakers in the finals, right? That you are then saying Jordan actually is, instead of being, I think 6-1 would be better than 6-0 because it would have meant. You disagree?
Yeah.
So you think it's good he lost to the Pistons?
It's good to be undefeated.
It's good he lost to the Pistons.
I'd rather have 6 golds. I don't need the silver.
Right.
I got 6 golds.
Right, but if you're not going to win a gold
and
that
the silver's
year,
going in my drawer.
then you
The
don't
6
think it's
golds
better,
are up
Brew.
there. No, I do.
Then you
4
don't
and
think
7. In the GOAT debate, it's
so
not.
then
It's
if they
4 and
can't win
7.
the title, it would be better if they just lose tonight and Friday.
I
No,
know it
I
doesn't
think
make any sense. It's just the way it is.
That's the end of it.
It's just the way it is.
But that's the way it is because, they say history is written by the winners. When all of it, sports history is written by Michael Jordan iconographers, then that is the way we do it.
No,
That's why Kareem
I
gets
agree
slighted
with
that-
you in that getting to 7 or 11 would be better.
Yes.
Even if he's 4 and 7, it just doesn't compare to 6-0.
Okay.
That's the
But
difference.
it's
And I
not-
think you even admit that.
It's not
6-0. Would you rather have 6
The
or
and
4?
O is what I have an issue with because he's not 6-0. We got to move on. He's not.
Hey,
Played
Josh.
15 years, won 6 times.
LeBron's
Josh,
won
can you
4
run the
times.
Yeah, that's
numbers
fine.
on Jordan in the
That's a
finals?
fine argument. That's
Is he
fine.
6-0 or not? We're going to get that later on, folks. Stay with us. We're going to see if Jordan's undefeated in the finals or not. Wolves with.
Listen, nothing tickles Draymond like
it's a
hitting guys
wild
who are way
quote.
smaller than you. And
wild
so can I
quote.
just ask a question? And I understand I'm putting myself at risk at, showing up on Draymond's podcast again, but that's fine. Do we have any evidence Draymond's actually a tough guy? Do we have any evidence that Draymond Green can fight or is an actual tough guy? Because I've tried to go back as far in history as we can about Draymond Green physical incidents. Right. Repeatedly hitting people in the groin. Is that considered a tough guy thing? Well, in my experience, no.
Effective.
Almost fought, reportedly, Steve Kerr, his much older, much smaller coach. Not typically a tough guy thing. Slapped a Michigan State football player when Draymond was a pro in 2016.
But that's a football player, though.
He's 6'180". He's a corner. I looked it up today. That's my size. So, what?
But he was ready to. I assume he was ready to go with Durant. If he had gotten there, I think he was ready.
Okay, Durant, not exactly a guy when I'm listing NBA guys that.
I don't know. KD talked some stuff. He might be tough. You never know.
Maybe, but they also didn't fight. Hit Jordan Poole. That's the evidence. Do we have a lot of
showing it?
Do we have a lot of instances of Draymond Green, taking on someone his weight class?
We don't. I'll say this, and I don't know. Like you, I don't know if he can fight or not. I think Draymond's tough. I do. I would bet that he can handle. He can throw those things. I would bet that he does. Because just the way he carries himself and he might not be. I don't know. But I would bet that Draymond is tough. I would bet. Now, I'm not saying he's Charles Oakley. I'm not saying he's Charles Oakley.
We're here for cogent analysis.
But hold on.
Draymond fight?
No, it's fair because he's saying he thinks Rudy Gobert's soft. And I'm saying Draymond Green, in my experience, is bark and not bite. Now, great player. All of
Do
those
you
things.
see any evidence of him? He's not soft, though.
Well,
Like, I can see why he might say that about Rudy Gobert.
Sure, but fake tough guy.
I don't think anybody would call him. But why is it fake tough guy?
Because the guys his size that he's gone after, Steven Adams and LeBron, he's hit them in the groin, and the other guys are 6 inches or more shorter than him. Jordan Poole, the kid in college, Steve Kerr, like that's if he had
KD
again.
I mean, he almost he got into it maybe as close to fighting KD as he did to Steve Kerr.
I don't see, so I don't know about that. You thought because I don't think that was on the sideline.
But it
during
spilled
the game.
a little bit, I think, into the locker room.
I'll be honest.
I'll say this. Yeah, it's a strange conversation.
Yeah.
Here's what was my thought. Draymond said later in the podcast, you couldn't call another man that word, the B word.
Yeah.
He was calling Durant that.
Yes,
okay?
of course.
He called LeBron that in the
Yes,
2016 finals when he got suspended. So now he's friends with them, thankfully. I'm glad they patched things up. But I would have liked to have heard him address that. Considering you did it, address that. Don't just say, you can never call another man that. We
Nobody
know that
followed
you
up
did.
on the pod?
Yeah,
Nobody grilled him?
That's
on
the new
Draymond
media.
Green show?
That's the new media. Nobody follows up.
I'll be honest with you. Not a lot of cogent analysis. I'm going to bounce back in this next
Nick
episode.
took it to the gutter.
You
Nick took it to the
agreed
alley.
with me in the pre-show meeting. You said I'm saying exactly
He said,
what
I'll
you
do
think.
a little thing on Draymond. Okay, great. To break, that'll be great. 10 minutes of it.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.